Welcome to the Inspiration Hub, where we get insight from various angles of life. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you for tuning in and for connecting with us every now and again. And today I have a guest with me. He's a medical doctor and also a content creator. He's also an author. He has authored this book that is titled The Pursuit of a Better Life. Someone may ask, how does someone, jungle between being a medical doctor and also an author in the areas of transformation? We are yet to get to know more about my brother over here. He has a very conjugated name, if I may use some huge English. Andronick. And of course, the last one, which I use mostly, is Chebsy. Is here with us, and we are going to get some nuggets of wisdom from him. My brother, I don't want to say more about you. Please tell them who Andronick is.
Well, thank you, Kelly. So I am Andronick Kambol Chebsy.
Chebsy.
Yes. That's the name that I was given.
Yes.
And of course, you live with your name, and as you go by, you realize that it's people question a lot about the name and whether you're Kenyan or not.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and many other things that come with it. But yes, that's my name.
Yes.
And I am glad to be here today on your show.
Yes.
And to get to interact with your viewers.
Exactly.
Across the globe.
Exactly. You're also doing some content.
Yes.
Which nature of content?
Yes, I decided to venture into content creation also on YouTube and other social media platforms. So I am focusing currently on health. That's health related stuff, because being a doctor,
yes,
I think that's more, it's something that I relate with, and I think it's something that people need to at least hear about health related issues. And so yes, we create content around those areas that will educate people.
It's very true. Now, it is very difficult to do medicine in Kenya as a regular student, just coming from high school and going to campus straight to do medicine. And to do medicine under the government, you must have scored straight A's. So you are the genius guys. You are the guys who are naturally endowed with very dangerous IQ.
About genius, I don't know if there is something like genius.
Yes, of course, the word does not exist from the blues. Something brought it.
There's a reason why I say I don't believe like somebody who gets A's or goes to do medicine and becomes a doctor is per se genius, because you'll say genius is somebody who is born with the natural intelligence.
Exactly.
I think probably, I don't know, it could be true or not, but for me, I usually don't feel that way, because if it was true, I think my earlier education would have shown that.
How? You scored you scored dismals in your early education. What are you trying to say?
Almost dismal, because I would say from my primary school I was just an average student.
Yes.
I was not top or getting those high scores. A case in this is let's say my KCP, the primary certificate.
Yes.
That one I scored 329 only.
Yes.
Out of 500.
Yes.
I mean, at that time, that's average.
So I scored 330, so I defeated you with 1 mark.
You now you see. So I scored,
but you disciplined me very well when it comes to the final exams.
Well,
you scored serious A's.
Yes, in the final in the secondary school exams now I scored A's. So when you look at trajectory of students, how students perform in primary school and in secondary schools. So if somebody got an A in secondary schools, most of those students are students who got very high marks in primary school. Not all, but most of them. So most will have gotten maybe 400 out of 500 and above, or let's say 370 and above in their primary, and then going to high school, they'll probably get the opportunity to join top-notch secondary schools in Kenya, high schools in Kenya. Yes, but now for me, it was like a misnomer.
A misnomer.
Yeah, because I was not in the category of top students in primary school. Okay, but in high school I decided to change some things and work on some things to be able to boost that from 329 marks to getting A's in high school. That is not the common trend as per that time.
You disciplined the exam. So my brother, I've read your book, and from the book I'm discovering that you're an indigenous person.
Yes.
If you can call it in Kiswahili, kienyeji, meaning you were raised in the village.
Yeah.
And I can see your family was a very big family. Your father had many children. Like how many? More than 10?
More than 10.
More than 10?
Yes.
Wow, that's great. And like right now, how many are you remaining?
10.
You're 10, all of you are more than 10, but right now,
yeah, we lost 2.
You lost 2, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So, and of course, you people are not very rich, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So you kind of shook hands with poverty growing up.
Held hands, actually.
You held hands. You held hands
yeah.
with poverty.
Yes.
But you know, you rose to that level to the point you're now practicing medicine, and money is not a problem right now. You are able to take care of yourself very well, and even splash some cash for your sibling to pay their education fee, their school fee and the rest. Now, there is something I learned in this book, because actually you wrote this book to transform lives in different aspects.
Yeah. And
you gave a story of, a lady in the village. How things how circles keep on, how do you call it?
Like the vicious cycle.
The vicious cycle, that is, things keep on changing. Someone is coming from a home of poverty, family of poverty, and they end up recycling the same and passing it over to the next generation in that manner. So please tell us, what came to your mind? Why did you decide to talk about this, and how can someone come out of the same so that they can set different bearing from that which they were set for?
Yeah. I wrote that because that's something that I have observed. I did observe growing up.
Yes.
Because if you are coming from a family that you are challenged financially, and of course financial challenges come with other challenges.
Yes.
Diseases, opportunities don't come your way. So when you grow up in such a place as a child, you only believe what you see. So you believe that there are no opportunities, you believe that there is no money, and you believe that.
Yes.
And also your vision becomes limited to just growing up.
Exactly.
And increasing in body. And and of course in that situation you see people marrying, and so your end goal is to grow up and be ready for marriage.
Exactly.
And then you keep circulating that.
Yes.
So probably you did not advance in your education. So you end up marrying, have kids.
Yes.
You're struggling to provide for them.
Yes.
And you have repeated the same cycle that your parents went through.
Exactly.
And the same way your parents raised you in limited finances, limited opportunities, and limited mindset, you are more likely to repeat the same.
The same thing.
If you did not challenge yourself to go out and try to do something outside what you have grown up knowing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there is this person that is still seeing him or herself repeating the same thing because they don't know the escape route. How did you escape this, that you decided to be an outlier in your family and construct a different bearing?
Yeah.
How would you advise someone that is seeing themselves repeating the same cycle? They came from a struggling family, and they're seeing probably their fathers were not able to, to give them a shoulder to stand on.
Yeah.
And they are seeing themselves winding up the same thing. How would you advise someone? What can someone do to come out of this dangio?
Okay. Well, to start with,
yes.
That's a good question. You cannot change something using the same tactics that maintained you in that situation.
Exactly.
You have to come up with something different for you to change the situation that you are. So if somebody is in such a situation that you need to take yourself out of financial limitation or the situations of poverty and its related cousins, if I can say that, you need to do something different. So first, you might actually need to take yourself out of that environment. For me, what happened is, the one thing that I attribute to is, first I identified a means that can help me, and mine was education. So there are different means. So you can use education. Some people use business according to your gifting. There are people who have used their gifting, like let's say music, and it has over time paid them. Okay, so you look at what can work. But overall, I think education is still the greatest equalizer.
Very true.
Yes. So for me, I looked at that as the opportunity to do that, to be able to come out of that. So I focused my energy, everything on education, and not just the aspect of going to school, but going to school and actually making sure that I am maximizing on that opportunity. It doesn't matter whether you've got food or not. It doesn't matter whether you've got clothes or not, uniform or not, shoes or not, books or not. The important part is that I was going to school and I was learning and I was getting educated. And that, and the aspect that I feel that when I move from one level of schooling to another, that there is something that is happening in my thinking and the knowledge that I'm gaining, that was a propellant enough to keep me going.
Wow.
And then the other thing is that take yourself out of the situation, like lift your mind, lift your thinking out of the current situation. And you can do that in different ways. So for me, what I did is to read books. So apart from...
Yes, by the way, I remember. I remember you wrote that here.
Yes.
Yes, and the next thing I'm going to ask you is bloom with peers.
Yes.
Go ahead, say.
So you read books. So I read books that are beyond my level.
Yes.
So I read novels about American, written by American writers, and most of them were fictional. I read textbooks that were ahead of me. All this worked to juggle my mind to be excited about knowledge and to see the world beyond. I knew so much about America, but I had not traveled to America. Because I was reading what is happening. And this does many things. It makes your brain sharp. It increases your vocabulary.
Exactly.
Your English improves.
Yes.
Your writing skills improves.
Yeah, very true.
And those are small things, but they work to build up
Very true.
the momentum for you in future.
Very true.
Other thing before we leave that, you talk with people who have gone beyond.
All right. You talk with people who have gone beyond.
If your parents have not gone beyond certain level in school, they might not know.
Exactly.
They will not be of help to you.
Exactly.
If your neighbor has not gone to school, they will not help you in terms of school. If your friend has not gone to school, they cannot help you when it comes to school things. So you have to find people who you can access, who can guide you on to see what lies ahead before you get there.
Exactly.
So in this case, they are teachers. So you can use teachers, good teachers for that sake, and they can guide you to see. And they really helped me to see the potential that lies ahead.
Oh, wow. So in other words, you are trying to magnify the benefit of hanging out with people who are better than you.
Exactly.
That will expand your mind. You've also talked about you knowing more about America, even though you have not been there before.
Yes.
Yeah. So you traveled to America through books.
Exactly.
And that opened your mind.
A lot.
I know you come from Rift Valley, and the way you speak, no one would know where you come from. Because you don't have any element of accent.
I don't have accent.
What is your secret?
I don't know if there is secret,
and of course
but
you lived in the village.
I lived in the village, yes. Like, you know, Kelly, the way I've told you, like, for me, I focused more on reading books.
All right.
And as like I mentioned, like, it helps build your grammar. When you read a book, it's whether it's academic or non-academic, novel or fiction or what, it helps build your grammar.
Very true.
So for me, I read those things very early.
Yes.
It helped me build my English, helped me build a range of words I can use, helped me build confidence to speak in front of people, and many other things.
Profound. So I read your book, and there is a very interesting topic here. Now that you brought that aspect of education, you're talking about bloom with the peers. What came to your mind that you brought this topic? And please, you may help us shed some light on it so that those who have not read the book can know. By the way, I'll show you on how to get this book. It's a very interesting book. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. You know, at every stage, you need people around you to help you grow.
Yes.
Yes. But that might not be the case as usual.
Yes.
Because especially people who we are the same age or your same level, let's say primary school, you had your peers, high school, you had your peers, college, where you're working as well. And you feel like, you realize that sometimes there might be a certain set of the people around you that feel kind of endangered by your presence. Yes, and there might be acts of jealousy.
Exactly.
Just because you're in the same age.
Exactly.
Especially when you look like you might be doing something above and beyond.
Yes.
You know, that excuse me, and that can make people to do very weird things to try and bring you down.
Exactly.
You know, for example, when I was in high school, Form 2.
Yes.
There was this girl who was jealous of me.
That is high school Form 2?
High school Form 2.
A lady was jealous of you?
Yes, because she was also bright. I mean, we were fighting for position.
Yes.
And I don't remember clear the events, but I think we disagreed over a book, a certain textbook, and she slammed that book on me and said, tutaona penye werevu yako itakupeleka.
Yes.
You know, and that was quite...
in other words, we'll see where your intelligence will take you.
Yes, you know, and you know, it was said out of bitterness.
Yes,
you know, and of course it kept manifesting in different ways, and you realize that even in other situations there are people who you have so many things in common, but they don't want to sit on the same table with you. Now,
let me take you back a little. When she slapped the book on your face and told you, we'll see where your intelligence will take you, of course, you finally finished, you did the national exams with her. What did she score?
Well, she scored a little bit lower grade than me, but she still went on to college. So
but she scored a little bit low. She scored a B.
Yes, a B.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can now see the disaster of jealousy and bitterness. She was very bright, and all of you were almost at par in performance in school.
Yeah.
But because she decided to harbor bitterness, she ended up scoring low as compared to how she should have been if things were just okay.
Yeah.
That is how bitterness eats its own people. You think you are punishing the other person, not knowing they're just consuming yourself with their own bitterness.
Definitely.
It is well. Now, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So you see, that happened.
Yes.
But I was just saying, like, when you look at different interactions, there are people who you share so much in common, but they cannot stand that they can sit with you on one table and you can discuss things and plan things together.
Yes.
And that hinders colleagues or students and peers working together. Because if you could sit down and put your little pride and jealousy or something aside and work together, you could possibly achieve so much together, as opposed to playing these little games. You know. So Bloom with Your Peers is a chapter that tries to put forward the emphasis that we need to put aside our little differences and see the potential that you could amass as a student. If we could stop saying wale ni category ya machopi, wale ni category ya wale serious, and then those ones are the drunkards, and those ones are this, you know, those categories, and come together and work, there's so much that students can achieve. okay? Both in terms of opportunities, both in terms of academic performance and many other things. The same to workplaces. You know, if we could put aside our differences and our secret desires, there's one that wants to be outstanding from the others so that they can reap some special benefits. No problem with wanting that, but at the cost of helping the others. That is where the problem comes in. So, and then there is one that segregates the other because the other is serious with his or her work. Now wewe ni joker, and then you want to nickname the other one to be quote unquote the serious, but you've not come close to learn what they are doing. So Bloom with your peers emphasizes that let's put aside our little games and come together, and you realize that you can do so much together at each level that you are.
The power of unity.
Yes.
You know, like, for example, if I want to hit you and I hit you this way with my phalanges spread like this, then I'll end up hurting my own phalanges.
Yourself, yeah.
But if I clench my fist like this and give you a hot blow, it will be a very serious one.
Yeah.
And you can't forget it easily. So even united fingers give a very hot blow.
Yes.
And that one, you're now confirming that unity is very, very important.
Exactly.
But in most cases, because of jealousy, you think someone has what you deserve, but you can't get. Someone has what you're trying to pursue, but you can't get. So instead of probably borrowing notes from that person, so at least you can grow yourself, you begin to fight that person, thinking that fighting that person will bring the person down and you'll pass over.
You pass,
not knowing there's limiting yourself by yourself.
You cannot rise by stepping on others.
You cannot rise by stepping on others. Wow, thank you so much now, Daktari. Now there is this one here. Life in the ashes. Life in the ashes. And after that I will ask you a few things that life has taught you as an individual.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Talk to us, sir.
So life in the ashes. Definitely that title shows you that what is going to be talked about there is not something that is such exciting.
Very true.
Yeah. I mean, we see many people around, and even for myself, I have been there. I have been in a place where I have to beg for food. You have been in a situation where you have to beg for food?
Yes. Now, which level was that? After high school, before high school, or when you were still in high school?
You know, mostly when I was younger, like I could not fend for myself. You do not have physical strength to work.
Yes.
So largely primary and part of high school, let's say the first year of high school. But after that, I became physically strong and started to work. But nevertheless, I have been in a place where I have to look for food as a child, but I can't get, and you have to seek help. Yes, you have to.
Yes.
Yeah, and definitely, you know, in the village setting, people know each other, and you'll be laughed at like so and so's child, you know, this and this.
For food.
And you still go to school, and even in school it is known. So so that story is not talking about me, it's talking about other kids, okay? But it's trying to bring out that that there's life in the ashes. People are going through very difficult situations that you might not know. For one, it's about food. For another, it's about health. For another, it's about maybe their marriage. For another, it's about even a student. They just hope that they will perform better.
Exactly.
But it's not happening. So it's different for different people.
People are fighting different battles.
Yes, they are.
People are fighting different battles. You could be fighting a battle of just getting basic need. Someone is fighting a different battle of maybe getting into leadership, or maybe has serious problems with their marriage, job, workplace, and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, so that chapter is meant to address that. And the problem with being especially at the top of the pyramid, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where at the base you're still struggling about basic needs, is that the desire to get your need fulfilled can make you do very weird things.
Exactly.
Just to survive. And if you read the book, there are stories of some little kids fighting. They're in the same level. They're struggling about the same things, but they fight just so that one can take home this piece of bread. And that's what we do. At our different levels, even in corporate, we still fight to be able to take the other down so that we remain with the bread.
Yes.
And that is a dangerous thing. Still going back to the aspect, what if we stop fighting each other and work together? Today we might have one bread we share, but because we are working together, tomorrow we might be able to get 4 bread.
Thank you so much for that, Daktari. You know, in Kenya, we call doctor Daktari. So when I say Daktari, I simply mean doctor. Now, as you conclude, there is this major issue among the young people globally, because I've realized this thing is everywhere.
Yeah.
In Africa, in America, in Europe, and in different places. The so-called depression. Depression, stress and depression. Maybe an advice on how someone can go through, can overcome depression. Yes, sir.
First, depression is a big term. And before we declare somebody to be depressed, we have to do a full psychiatric evaluation, because there are other things like stress that can easily be termed as depression. But depression, medically speaking, is a very serious thing which needs serious medical attention, and it takes some good time to come out of it. But what we usually call depression randomly are a few instances of stress and other small things that have put our feelings down. Yes. But nevertheless, they are all worth to be talked about.
So let's talk about stress.
Stress, yes.
Yes, yes.
So I think just like most of other problems that we go through as human beings, we first handle the cause. So we have to address the cause. What is this thing that is causing stress? And for youths, I think several things. One, you come out of university, you had been promised education is the key to success.
Yes.
And then you come out, there are no jobs.
It's bad luck.
1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. What is going to happen? You're probably going to feel stressed and disappointed, and a myriad of things following. And then maybe for some of us, we were so ambitious and enthusiastic that after we finish our college, we're going to find jobs and, you know, live these luxurious lives that we dreamt of, which is okay, but things are not happening. Then we see maybe 1 or 2 of our colleagues have attained what we have not. So, you know, that desire of that part of comparison. And you feel like something is wrong with me. And, you know, that definitely can trigger your mind to get into that downward trend. And yes, sometimes depression can start with stress. And when it goes unchecked, now it can build up now into the actual depression. Yeah. So it's a myriad of things. Other things actually that happen among the youth are drugs. Yes, drugs can induce stress. Drugs can induce depression. So people use drugs for different ways. One, there are those people who have an underlying medical condition and use drugs like bang or cigarettes to treat. Not like they know, but that drug helps them to feel a sense of relief.
Yes.
All right? So there are those who use the drugs because they already have a mental condition. But then there are those who use drugs, and the drugs are the one that lead to the mental problems.
Yes.
Yeah. So many different circumstances. It's not usually one event. It's a combination of many things coming together to ultimately affect this person's mind and functioning. So we start with addressing the cause, then get checked by a medical person, a trained medical person, who is going to evaluate and see. Because as like I told you, it could be an actual underlying mental problem, or something that has been induced by events in life. So there's need to find out what it is. And then now that will help the person that is evaluating you design an appropriate therapy for you based on the cause.
Based on the cause.
But if you just attack it generally, you might not address the cause, and therefore the problem will not be dealt with.
Very true.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thank you so much, Dr. Andronick. And this other one must be a name from the village, Kambol. Kambol is from your community.
Kambol.
Kambol. Don't worry, I'm just reading it as well. Now, so I'm going to put his email address at the description, so you can contact him to acquire this book. It's a very profound book, very easy to read and very interesting. And I can tell you the guy has very powerful English. So if you are doubting your vocabulary, if you are doubting that you are bankrupt of vocabulary, then you may need to arm yourself with a very dangerous Oxford to be able to flow. Otherwise, it's very flowing, very interesting book with some stories of African way of life, you know, the village living kind of things. It's a very nice book. It may look big, but I can tell you the moment you start reading it, you would know when you will have finished it. My brother, thank you so much for coming to the Inspiration Hub. I will still have you another time so we can share on other issues of life, because I've discovered you are very deep when it comes to matters that people interface with in life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate also.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Please remember to subscribe and just hit the notifications so that you are able to get our videos immediately you upload them. And you also get the link that will lead you to my website at the description at www.kelinspiration.com, and I have some stuff there that you can interface with. Thank you so much. Until next time.